Welcome everybody to build better customer experiences and close the feedback loop with Dynamics 365 Customer Voice. My name is Chad Weiner. I am the manager at Alithya for the Power Apps. We are a Microsoft Gold partner specializing in ERP, CRM, BI, digital, and Azure. Of course, many of you already know who we are, but we'd love to talk with you more about your business applications, whether it's digital or Power BI or any of the Power Platform or Dynamics 365 applications. My name is Chad Weiner. I am the manager for our Power Apps here at Alithya. I've been working with Dynamics 365 and the Power Platform since about 2014, working with several of our different verticals and industries here at Alithya. And I'm excited today about talking with you all about Dynamics 365 Customer Voice, which is the survey module built into the Power Platform, built into Dynamics 365. I invite you to connect with me on any of my channels. And we invite you, if you have any questions, please ask them in the chat, the Q&A. We'll be monitoring that, as well as the chat feature. And there will also be time at the end for question and answers. Today, our agenda is quick and brief. We're going to go over what is Dynamics 365 Customer Voice. We'll talk about pricing and licensing and how you already may have licensing for this tool to start leveraging. I'll give you a quick demo of some of the feature sets, and then we'll wrap it up with any questions that you may have, as well as how you can engage with us to maybe learn more about the product. So, feedback comes from a variety of different sources across a lot of our customer base. Many of it comes through emails. Some are now starting to dabble in SMS communication and texting and one-way and two-way communication. And we've even got some customers that are building mobile applications for their users. And we're actually tying back that usage to a contact inside Dataverse. And we're monitoring and being able to target and communicate and personalize communication across really all of these different channels. And so hopefully one or several of these channels are where you're getting your feedback from. And the challenge is, how do you take in all these signals and really leverage them, right? So Forrester gives us some good metrics around, 96% of our customers, they see customer experience as being a one department issue, right? So it's just marketing's issue or it's just sales issue. Where really, if you think of our business, the customer is the entire journey, right? From pre-sales to demo, to your project starting, to delivery, to our great support program through Alithya Connect. It's all about the customer experience and delivering good value to you as our customers. 64% don't have tools to really manage this process. 88% of marketers don't really have tools to optimize their reach around this feedback of who's promoters, who's detractors, and how do we get insights from this customer data. And so getting this data into Dataverse using Dynamics 365 Customer Voice is really a good start. And so how can we close that feedback loop, right? So the first part is listening. Then we start to interpret. Then we start to act and we monitor. So how can we capture that feedback quickly, to listen in, to see who's negatively or positively providing feedback? How can the system auto-generate some of those insights so that we're not having to manually interpret that? And how can we get that data integrated to our marketing applications, to our customer service applications, to our sales applications to drive better actionable real-time feedback? And so, again, as we've said, the customer experience spans all departments, and customer voice can be used across all different departments within the organization, whether it's the customer experience manager or the business analyst or the customer service representative or the sales manager. Surveys and touch points and tapping, engaging the feedback of your stakeholders, your customers, your prospects can really only enhance your processes. We're starting to now integrate surveys into our sales process, where post a demo, we're sending surveys to a customer to try to do better and get feedback how we did. Post a SOW or a statement of work being signed, we're trying to capture feedback to improve our services And we're even rewarding, and we know what customers are providing feedback, and we're able to know promoters, detractors, and capture things like net promoter score, which we'll talk more about today in the demonstration. And so all these different departments can be using the tool. And so it's a unified customer experience. Every department needs to be connected. You should be thinking of Dynamics 365 and Dataverse as that single source of truth for your customer relationship data, whether it's sales or customer service or marketing or feedback with surveys. And so hopefully you're seeing how these different touch points all rolled up to a contact inside your CRM, all rolled up to an account inside of your CRM. We can start now to hyper-personalize, target, and drive insights into our customer database. Couple of slides around like the features, and then we'll jump into a demonstration. So Dynamics 365 Voice allows you to collect, analyze, and track real-time feedback. It's all integrated into Dynamics 365. So as we kind of asked earlier, if you leverage Dynamics 365 sales or marketing or customer service, you already have the framework there, and you probably already have survey features installed. You're just not using them. And if you want to get them installed, it's just a matter of a couple of button clicks. But as we'll talk about in the licensing, you can start to survey your customer base for free included in that enterprise licensing. And so it allows you to listen to customers. It integrates with all the data, whether it's in Dataverse or in other data sets. And the tool allows you to build alerts and proactively monitor your customer base to help build relationships. And of course, it works across Dynamics 365. All this data is stored in Dataverse, so it can be reported on in Power BI. It can be automated, like the sending when a case is resolved or when a lead is qualified. Those can trigger surveys. That's all done via Power Automate. And then you can extend the functionality, of course, with Power Apps. What you'll see in the demo here next is we'll build a survey quickly. So we can quickly build a beautiful survey with personalization, with branding, with emoticon responses, different question types. There's out-of-the-box workflows and templates that allow you to get up and running quickly. And there's different triggers and different ways you can send these surveys depending upon your use case or how you want to engage with your stakeholders or your customers. And before we jump into the demo, we'll quickly talk about licensing. All this can be found on the Customer Voice Microsoft page if you scroll down to the bottom. But essentially, if you have Dynamics 365, any of the enterprise SKUs, you get everything I'm about to show you included for up to 2,000 survey responses a month. And so that allows you to survey your user base, including up to 2,000 responses back included in your licensing. Of course, if you need more survey responses, you can buy more in packs at a reduced cost. But for those of you that already have Dynamics, you can start sending out surveys and creating surveys like I'm going to show you today. If you don't have Dynamics 365, but you use Office 365, maybe you're even a Salesforce customer, right? You do have the ability to purchase Customer Voice a la carte separately, bring in your contact data, and start leveraging in your survey tools. Or you can buy additional non or dev or production instances. But for those of you, many of you we know on the line that have Dynamics 365 enterprise licenses, you already own the survey capability, and we'd love to help you start leveraging them. And I think you'll learn and have good takeaways from this webinar on how you can do that internally as well. And again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask in the QA or the chat. So without further ado, we'll jump into the demo. I will throw this link in the chat real quick. So for those of you that have Customer Voice Enterprise, you may, or excuse me, one of the Sales Enterprise, you may already own the tool. And so you may be able to access it right now. Maybe some admin needs to set up some permissions, but that is how you access kind of the survey builder. I'm going to flip my screen here. And we'll talk a little bit. So we're at that link. I'm inside of the customer voice portal where we can build all of our surveys. And right up front, there's a dashboard where I can see my customer satisfaction across some of my surveys, right? We have a support survey that goes out when a case gets resolved. We have an order delivery survey that goes out when we ship a product or when we go live with a project. So we can have kind of these out-of-the-box dashboard and metrics that pull in just key data automatically as we have our different surveys. What we'll start with is a project. So a project is kind of the container of different surveys, right? So sales, you can have a project with sales in multiple surveys under there. So it's essentially a grouping of surveys. We'll just go ahead and click New Project. And what I love about Dynamics 365 Customer Voice is that Microsoft's pre-built a lot of templates for you based upon some common industry scenarios. So maybe you want to start doing periodic customer feedback. And this one's based on Forrester best practices around customer service and customer feedback. Or you want to do an order delivery or a support. Or you want to try to get ACSI benchmarks. There's different flavors that you can choose from. Let's just preview the periodic customer feedback one with the Forrester metrics, right? It's got sample questions like, how would you rate your satisfaction with the company based on your experience in the last 3 months? So as you can see, you're starting to get a feel for what the surveys look like and how easy it is kind of to pick a template or start from blank. So we'll go ahead and pick this periodic customer feedback one. Now we need to pick a Dataverse instance. Again, because the customer voice module is built directly into Dynamics 365, you're going to see here your production instance, your non-production instance, your dev instance, right? You'll be able to have different surveys in different environments and even do that application lifecycle management if you want to. So I'm going to go ahead and pick our Alithya demos. This is our CRM environment. This is where all of our customer data lives. So we'll go ahead and click Create. It's going to take a second to spin up the survey. If you picked a template, it'll use the template that you selected. Hopefully this works. There we go. Looks like it's coming in. And now we've got the canvas to now start personalizing and customizing our survey. So, we'll notice, like, as we click here at the top, right, if I wanted to call this our monthly customer feedback, right, I could change the title, or I could say, give it a description. Please fill out this survey to help us enhance our services. So you've got titles and descriptions, right? This is a page. I can bold, I can change the font. If we want to, you can change the theme color, of the survey itself. You could put in your brand standards here. If you wanted to change the style, they have different styles with even images. So a lot of quick and easy personalization and customization that you can do depending upon, how you want your survey to look and feel. That dog is cute, right? Maybe I want this to be white. So now we can see it a little bit. If I wanted to upload a custom image and replace this dog, I could. I'm going to keep them. We'll change it just to show you, right? We can come back to the people jumping or the heart. So you can even do that and upload your own image as well. So you have the ability to modify the header and the page. As you saw, I picked a template, so it gave us predefined questions. If I wanted to just add a new question, I simply click Add New. And I have the ability to add a new choice question or a new text question, a rating, a date, a ranking, a liker. They have specific questions to track Net Promoter Score. So really, they cover the gambit of the most basic and most types of questions that you would want to answer. So let's just say maybe I want to put a choice, and I want to say, did we resolve it on the first time? And I can even put, and you'll even notice that there's AI built in. So it's suggesting me like yes, no, maybe. So I can either type in my options manually. I'm just going to use the AI and click add all. And maybe I don't want to use the maybe one, right? It's either a yes or a no. So we can easily add more and more questions. You can see there's likers, there's rankings, and there's even personalization built in, right? So I'm going to pass in our company name, our support website, and all that can be used to personalize this information when we're sending it to the customer. So they're not getting just a generic email asking them to take a survey. We're using their first name, we're referencing their case number, we're referencing their shipping details, etc. I'll expand this customization area on the right. This is where we have the ability to change things. We can add customer satisfaction metrics. So again, this already has built in 2 questions. One of them tracks customer satisfaction. How would you rate the overall satisfaction with our company? And the other one tracks customer sentiment. What additional feedback would you like to share? Right? That's actually just an open text field where the AI is going to be parsing out what the user's typing in, and is it positive? Is it negative? What are they talking about? And it'll automatically influence those metrics that are defined. And you can, of course, add your own custom metrics or scores to the surveys. Very powerful feature here, but the ability that it just gives you the base ones out of the box automatically and starts aggregating them across your surveys is super powerful. And that's one of the main features our customers are loving as they just begin to deploy surveys and get those responses in. So we talked about satisfaction metrics. We've also got branching, right? So there is the ability to say, if they answer this question yes or no, take them to the next page, right? Or show, hide certain sections. So you do have the ability to branch and, take someone down like a logical page and skip pages and questions. You also have the ability to do personalization, right? So when we send this out of CRM and we send it from a case, we're going to know the contact associated to the case, so we can get their first name and last name in. Maybe we want to also reference the case number in this email. There's no spaces in there. And now when I go and call this survey, it's going to ask me to fill in these parameters so that we can personalize the survey and actually reference in the company name or the case number or whatever it may be. Languages.
Hey, Chad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry to interrupt, but we have a question. It says, you mentioned NPS. Where does it come into play and how is it scored? We employ a third party to survey and derive NPS data today.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll see that a little bit later on in the demo, but essentially, as we send out these electronic surveys and as those participants reply to the questions that we're tracking Net Promoter Score. So for example, if I were to add a new question and I just wanted to track Net Promoter Score, there's a predefined question for that. And so that's going to give me the how likely are you to recommend us to a friend or a colleague. And so now if I go back to my satisfaction metrics, I can add my Net Promoter Score metric that I'm capturing. And now every time someone responds, a contact, to this question, we're going to now track their Net Promoter Score at the contact level. And then we can roll that up to the account level and show you different things. So I think you'll see a little bit later on. Awesome. I saw that answered. That's a great question. And we'll build on it a little bit more in our demonstration. So we've got our 3 satisfaction metrics. And if I just jump back real quick to a survey that's already live, I want to quickly show you just some of the data that we're getting. So if I just look at sending, I get this really cool about, we've sent it to 22 people, 21 of them had good emails, one of them was a bad email, 14 of them didn't responded, and then from there, who opened, who read, who responded. So from ascending, you get really good out-of-the-box analytics, as well as I look at my satisfaction metrics that we set up, right, I can look at the customer sentiment. I can look at the customer satisfaction. I can look at the net promoter score over time. So hopefully you saw, we've built our survey, we set up our metrics, and we are now starting to just get these out-of-the-box report back in. Let's go back into our one we were building out. I want to quickly mention sending capabilities. So we can just send this out of the system to a single person or, comma separated people if we know. We can also get a QR code, right? So maybe you have on-site events and you want to have this posted where people take a picture and then they finish your event survey. You can get a link to send this out randomly or embed it on your website, or you can even use Power Automate and automation. And Microsoft even has predefined templates like send a survey when an order is fulfilled, send a survey when a lead is qualified. So there are predefined templates for you to use. This is like an example of what it looks like in a workflow, right? When a case gets resolved, we send a survey. So there are actions and tiles that allow you to pick what survey and automate the process of sending surveys within your business processes. And then the last thing I want to show is what that data looks like inside of Dataverse, right? So this is a little bit of configuration that we do for a lot of our customers that are leveraging customer voice. So at the end, we're going to give you an email address to reach out to us if this is something you'd like. I'm happy to get on a call with you for an hour. We'd love to reach out to your account manager. We'd love to help you implement these tool sets because many of you already have this, included in your licensing. But I'm on an account page. So we're on the account City, Power, and Light. And I want to direct you to this Net Promoter Score area. So there are 7 contacts that work at City, Power, and Light. We've sent them all our periodic surveys. We can see that the Net Promoter Score for this account is 28. We can see they've got, of those 7, 4 of them are promoters, 1 is passive, 2 are detractors, and we can see a percentage. And so we can track this at an account level, right? We can see at a contact level all the different data around those 7 people. And remember, this can be used by marketing to segment and create journeys on detractors or promoters. As well as if I was an account manager and I managed City, Power, and Light, I could maybe run a Word template to give me kind of a one-pager around, hey, how is my account doing? What's their satisfaction metrics? And so we've created like a simple Word template that you can run at an account level that shows you something like this and tells you, these 7 people, what was their last survey? What was their previous? What's the percentage? And so really, as you start to survey and get this data, now we can relate it to contacts. Now we can relate it to accounts. And now we can group and segment and hyper-personalize our surveys and communications.